Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another edition of the Three Amigos podcast. Week 4 of the NFL season is in the books. We've got two handsome, devilish, beautiful men, besides myself, on this screen. Both of them, as you can tell, are wearing jerseys, and I am not. Unfortunately, it was a rough outing for my boys, but the other two teams got it done. Jay, it's wonderful to have your face back, have your voice back in the ears of the fans. What do you have to say for yourself for not coming on the podcast after the boys lost? Didn't want to talk about it. We already updated them on all that, but now it's time for you to rebuttal to what we said.
I didn't even listen, so I have no idea what you said, but whatever you said, fuck you. No, I'm just kidding.
That's a pretty good response, honestly, to it.
Yeah, I like have no idea, but normally it's gonna probably come with a response of like that, and that everything you said was probably a lie. If not, if it was nice, it's good. If it was mean, it was probably a lie. But no, dude, honestly, excited to be back. I know it's just been a crazy couple weeks for me transitioning to a new location. As you see my new spot over here. Excited to be back.
What you're doing. We just told them that you're gone. We haven't told people what you're doing. We didn't want to share your news. So if you want to, you're more than welcome to. We just, yeah.
Well, dude, one, the Cowboys have been sucking ass, so that's been cool. So I'm glad I haven't been here to talk about that. That's been probably a great thing. But yeah, dude, we just transitioned. I got a lateral promotion to move back home to the great state of Arizona, where I've been sweating like balls.
The boys are back
and I know it's not the
state.
Yes. So we're so stoked. I know we got some other plans that what to do with the potty, which I'm excited to kind of actually get through. We got to get through a few weeks first. But I know at least by the end of the season, man, just consistently this is gonna be an awesome one. We're so freaking stoked to be here, be home, be with the boys. I got to see them this weekend. That was fun. Hey, yeah, we got to sit down next to each other, give you little handies, have a good time, smile through it. Yeah, it was a good one.
It was a good full circle moment. We started this podcast, all three of us in separate states. Obviously, we had I had McJamm here in the backyard, but we started this podcast when we were all in different states, and we wanted to kind of come together more often and just talk about what we love. And now here we are. What is this? Year 3 of the year 2, year 3, something like that, and now we're all back under one state.
One umbrella, but you didn't come to hear us talk about our love story and being back together with the handy that we do. You came to hear us give our unasked for opinion on college and NFL football, baby. And I want to start it off hot and heavy with Alabama Crimson Tide jumping everybody to go to number 1 after their should have been a beatdown, but they let him come back in over Georgia.
Yeah, I owe Alabama a huge apology. I was not hot on them
last week.
I didn't think they were going to win this game. Even though Jalen Milroe has been playing pretty well, he just wasn't very high on him, wasn't high on this current Alabama team. I thought this Georgia team was now without Nick Saban was going to come in and just start to dominate this rivalry. It could not have been more wrong. Alabama put a whooping on them for most of that game. Props to Georgia for not giving up and trying to make the comeback. And actually, they did make the comeback since they eventually took the lead there for 2 seconds. But I mean, props has to go to Alabama, showing that Saban's gone, but there's still going to be a force to be reckoned with, and rightfully so, being placed at the number 1 spot for right now.
That was a great game. I know watching it with you guys, it was like, we saw how it was getting crazy. And then we started watching the end when you were like, oh my God, they're coming back. And man, that 17-year-old, what's his name? Ricky? No, something like that.
McJamm, we need a
number 2 for Alabama.
Yeah, anyways, he's the one that made that play, which I didn't think the play itself was like absolutely crazy. The defender really bluffed, but I mean, still, he's 17-year-olds making 18 to 20-year-olds look like
Ryan Williams.
Ryan Williams. I knew it was an R, but yeah, I did still. I mean, it's impressive just to see a young guy do something like that. A guy literally that should probably be in high school. And a good dude, the interception at the end. I think he called it right because he's like, "Yo, this dude's highly inaccurate," and then he throws that pick. So
Yeah.
I mean, good for Bama. Love it to see him at number one, even without all a Saban-led team.
Yeah. Texas, I think, has to feel snub. I don't know if they have to feel snub.
Mm.
You drop from number one, you don't lose. You're beating up on teams that you should be beating up on, and you still. I mean, it's rightfully so
Yeah,
because
Texas just doesn't have the same win,
yeah,
against like they win and clobbered a Michigan team, a defending championship team, but they're a shell of themselves from last year. It's not the same caliber as beating a Georgia team like this.
yeah,
Sure. And they barely beat Mississippi State. Like I think we were talking about that, right? Like we're like, oh, that game wasn't
Yeah,
impressive. Like I mean, yeah, they won, but it wasn't like it
I
wasn't.
expect once I almost said once Archie Manning comes back, once Quinn Ewers comes back, you're going to see that dominant Texas team again. As talented as Manning is, he's just not at the same level as Ewers yet because of the experience and everything. So once Ewers comes back, I think that Texas team is once again, in my opinion, the strongest title contender.
it's gonna be fun to see who battles it out for the SEC championship. I know they were talking about Georgia and Alabama could meet 3 times this year, and the SEC, I think we're
Yeah.
kind of forgetting that Texas switched over to SEC, and they might have something to say about if they're going to be in the championship game or not.
I would rather see Texas in that game just strictly because it's something new. It's different. Like we've never seen Texas in the SEC. So for them to make it to the championship game, I think that would be interesting.
Now, what did they do? Because I know they typically did it like a East and West kind of thing, or is it just like SEC best teams? Boom, bada bang. Because I know Big Ten does that, right?
Yeah, Big
So
Ten.
Big Ten got rid of the divisions this year. So there, once again, there's a chance for Michigan and Ohio State to play each other 3 times. Or whoever the top 2 teams in the conference will be. Where I think the SEC still operates
I
under
think
the
it's
East
actually
versus West.
it's
Yeah.
not anymore.
No,
Nope.
Oh, they got rid of it too this year?
Yeah, because just looking at it, it just says SEC. It's not broken down
Okay.
into anywhere like the
So I guess
ACC.
they both got rid of it.
Yeah, yeah.
I
So
like
I
that.
mean, I'm not sure, but it looked like it.
If it's
I
true,
like it too.
makes the two because then it's like because how many Big Ten championships games did you have where it was like it comes down to the game, Ohio State, Michigan, and then
Mhm.
whoever won that game went and faced like Wisconsin
Yeah,
or
the West, they had a couple years where they had some, like Wisconsin had a few really good
yeah,
teams and whatnot, but like for the most part, the East in that conference was so dominant over the West
Oh,
that
yeah.
it was a foregone conclusion on who was going to win that game.
and then your boys in blue almost didn't get it done against Minnesota. What happened there?
Well,
20.
well, they almost blew it.
Yeah,
They
that's
didn't.
what I said.
Yeah,
Almost didn't get it done. It's the same
they
thing.
they pulled the same thing as Alabama, where they went up on them really hot, really heavy right away, and then just kind of took their foot off the gas. And I don't really know what happened. I was actually reading today, Michigan's going to get their 2 defensive stars back. I didn't even realize watching that game that Will Johnson, their best player overall by far, was not even playing. So I think that is somewhat of a factor, but at the same time, you had this giant lead. What happened?
Yeah.
And I still think there's a big question mark at our quarterback. I'm glad that we have Alex Orji in. I think that's the better move as opposed to Warren. But to be honest with you, I'm just at the point where I wouldn't mind just putting the 5-star freshman. Just put them in. Let them develop, let them learn, let them get better. However this season plays out, whatever. It's going to be better for us long term if he starts to get some reps. So if Alex Orji isn't going to be a guy that we think we can beat Ohio State with, put in the freshman.
Yeah. Luckily that USC beat Wisconsin for you guys makes that win look a little bit better still.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a
Absolutely.
little scary, but they pulled through, they won. Yeah, and then Texas beat Mississippi State even with what's his bucket in the backfield. Yeah, I mean Penn State finally got a big
He has a
win.
name. His name is Archie Manning. You better learn it, respect it, love
Yeah,
it.
I
The new
understand that.
Manning,
No, I understand
the
that.
new era.
I get it, but Quentin Ewers is so much better.
You know what though? He's only like a sophomore.
Yeah, good for him. I
Yeah.
think he's actually technically a red shirt freshman.
I think so too.
I don't think
Actually, yeah, he didn't play at all last year, so he absolutely got redshirted, and yeah,
Which is
almost certain.
crazy because it just gives him that
Almost
much more
certain.
time to be great. I mean, there ain't no rush to go
nope.
into the NFL. So if he
Making
wants to play
No.
with Texas for a little bit, I mean, really,
His
truthfully, it's
family's already
great.
come out and said they want him to complete his career there. So you're not going to see him come out early.
And
No.
he's got money from his family, and he's making
And
2.1
NIL. Yeah.
making
Yeah.
$2.1 million sitting on the
He doesn't
bench.
need his family. He's
He
got
ain't hurt.
NIL.
Yeah,
ain't
don't
hurt.
have it. Like, might as well just stay there. Penn State finally got a win over a top 25 team. Question marks about it. They went into Illinois, or Illinois came into Happy Valley and they beat them, which is good. Good for them. I think the funniest story out of everything over college, though, was we had a quarterback say, "You didn't pay me," blah blah blah, all these things, and then their team went out and fucking whooped ass.
That was just
Yeah,
straight
we
dogs.
learned real quick that he was not the reason they were winning. So kind of showed his hand a little bit.
What was this guy's name again? Because let's like develop it, right? Because I think
Oh,
this
we
is
developed it last.
crazy. Huh?
We did it
We
last week.
talked about
We
it
did talk
last
about him
week.
last week.
Yeah, we talked about
That
it.
Yeah.
is just okay, good. Because I thought it was crazy because he was like, "Oh, I didn't get paid like $100,000, right? That's all he was promised. Dude,
Yes.
it's $100,000. Like
Was it
you'll be
3 or
fine.
1?
But to be honest with you,
100.
okay, put yourself in his shoes. You're a guy who has been playing football at Holy Cross your entire college football career. You enter the transfer portal for the first time as not really a top quarterback, but like a quarterback that is now desired by these kind of mid-range Division I teams. And you get offered 100 grand. You're not going to the NFL. So you're trying to make every penny that you can in this game at the college level. So if you get promised 100 grand by a school and then you show up and they've only paid you 3 grand so far, and then basically tell you, yeah, we're only going to pay you another 3 grand each month until the end of the season, you're getting gypped out of, I think, $80,000, close to. And so when that's pretty much the only money you're ever going to make from football, I get it. I get why he would leave. If that's
Yeah.
truly the truth, if that is the truth that they told him 100K and then they didn't live up to it, I mean, yeah, he's got to go and chase that money while he can.
Well, the thing I think about this is if he would have still just gutted it out, played well enough, still kept the season to where it was needed, he would have opportunity to make money because at least he would be picked up or given opportunity maybe elsewhere. If he took a UNLV team and got them undefeated through the season, he would have been somewhere. But this team clearly was not great because of his shoulders, which makes him look like the fool. Because
Oh,
at this
yeah.
point, I think, oh, you talked a big game. This team said, well, fuck you. We don't need you. If you're going to quit on us, that's the way I look at it. I think he quit over some money, which at the end of the day, you weren't getting money before. You still have an opportunity to make money by showing that you can ball out. Well, you're now
Except I
wasting
think
a
this
year.
is his last year.
Yeah, so
This
he's
would have been his last season. So now
holding
that
out his
he
eligibility for
redshirted.
another year.
Yeah.
Yes, he's trying to hold out for one more year. So this is basically his last shot at making money playing football. But I agree. I think the way that UNLV is played without him and will probably continue to play, I don't know too many other schools that are going to offer him a ton of NIL. Maybe he'll get 50, 75. Maybe he'll get the 100 that he was looking for. But you're right. It did kind of blow up a little bit in his face. But I understand what he had to do. But you're right. I'm a college football purist. So as much as I am happy for these kids to be getting the money that they deserve
Yeah.
by generating all this revenue, it also in a lot of ways is kind of ruining what college football is.
For sure. It's definitely a business, not as much as like a tradition. I don't like the transfer portal as much. The portal gets me a little upset because people just flee left and right. I obviously understand there's opportunities like Joe Burrow and whatnot, who Daniels, who needed that opportunity. But I mean, dude, I don't know. That's where I guess I would be like in the middle and a purist in a sense that like you kind of go to school, you got to work your way to the position. I know sometimes it doesn't work out for you because even Justin Fields did it with Ohio State, but like wouldn't you just want to prove it with the school you originally wanted to go to? And I
Yeah.
guess like if there's no opportunity because they're just not letting you, and it comes to like more political, then it makes sense. It makes sense. 'Cause that's happening to Joey B. He wasn't going to get an opportunity, I don't think, at Ohio State. I think he would have just been a backup quarterback for the rest of his time. Then he got to go be
Yeah,
a
he was
starter.
told that he sucked.
Yeah, which is crazy. So I see the good and I see the bad, but
Is
the,
it
the
crazy after the
use
first 40
of the
days?
transfer portal sometimes I think is extreme. I think there's definitely those cases that they need it, and which is why it opened up. But I think people just flee too far left and right over the silliest things rather than just like figure it out, gutted it out, committing to the program.
I
Boys, I
agree.
would love to sit and talk to you about boys getting paid, but let's talk about men that get paid to play this game that we love. Okay.
Man,
We had
Take
some
it.
we had some men go to battle. Okay. One of us, I'm not going to mention who, texted in our group chat that they are frauds, that they are nothing worth what they should be, who they are. And I think we all know who we're talking about when the emotions fly in our group chat. There's one redheaded man that is at the helm of it, usually 99.9% of the time. And I would like you to expand on this so that we can tell the fans why you think the JETS are frauds, frauds, frauds.
They absolutely are. And first of all, Alex, thank you for calling me a redhead and not a cue ball or chrome dome or anything. It took me back to a time where I did have hair, so thank you.
Only
But
time
however, the Jets
don't
are frauds. Like, let's be honest. Their offense is boring as fuck.
that was so boring.
It's so boring.
I couldn't
It
believe they
is
lost that game.
ridiculously boring. I can't either. I thought for sure, okay, this is actually going to be the tune-up game for this offense. This is going to be the game where they really like show, hey, not only do we have a Super Bowl caliber defense, but our offense is going to start playing complementary football. And we didn't get that even a little bit. Did Aaron Rodgers didn't even throw a touchdown pass in that game,
No,
right?
he did not. They scored
Yeah.
all field goals, sir.
It was so ugly, and this has been the trend for them all year, where their offense just does not look like entertaining or powerful or scary at all. There's been a few moments where Rodgers has lit it up and looked great, and Garrett Wilson has had a couple moments. That big touchdown he had on the sideline was great the week before, but in this game, it told me everything I needed to know about this team, and that is that they will not be contending for the AFC title.
No.
I mean, hey, listen, I'm the resident Stan over here, and I will say this. I don't disagree with you, but Jets, what are you doing over there when you have a 40-year-old man and you're making him throw for over 40 attempts a game?
Yeah.
Like
And you have Brees Hall.
you have Brees Hall in the
He
backfield.
wasn't doing anything that entire game. He was getting
I
stuck.
know.
I
Like they literally just couldn't do anything. Like the
I
Broncos completely shut them down. But I also have to take in like, yes, I think they're a little bit of frauds. We have to take into account too. Like this was another revenge game, right? I think the year before they were trying to get back at Nathaniel Hackett, but really they didn't even have Aaron Rodgers. So is Zach Wilson just gutting out a dub, right? And now
Mm-hmm.
tables turn. Zach Wilson's now left. Aaron Rodgers is the man. So now you get the guy that you wanted. We were back in Denver, right? Or it's in New York, I think was this game. We were playing
Yeah,
Denver
this one
in New
was.
York
Yeah.
at home. Like, I think the Broncos just handed to them, like their defense wise. I don't think the Broncos played well either, right, by any chance. I mean, dude, it was 10-9. You talk about the most boring game and frustrating game. That was boring. Like literally, you think from at least from the Jets perspective, that they should have this high power offense as they have freaking Aaron Rodgers, Mike Williams, Brees Hall, Garrett Wilson. You can name all these other athletes. Like Alan Lazard has
Lazard.
been balling out for them. And they get 9 points. What? That's like, okay, Nathaniel Hackett, brother, wake up.
Yes, I think it
Yes.
is mostly on Hackett. As much as I do want to hate on Rodgers, he's actually looked pretty good so far, considering he's recovering from this major injury. It's still a brand new team for him.
Yeah.
But Hackett, like brutal play calling, brutal.
Well, dude, how do you keep the same shit? Nothing's working for you, yet you're still just doing it. Doesn't make
Yeah.
this isn't making sense. And they all came out of Robert Saleh for like, for what his lack of thing. But like it's not again, he did his job. He held the team to 10 points. But you can typically hold the team to 10 points. You're gonna win a fucking football game. Simple as
Yeah.
that.
Especially
Right.
when you have Aaron Rodgers, you would believe that more than 10 after 10 points, you should win a game.
And you can tell Aaron was pretty upset with the outcome, what he was going on to. Again, just a disappointing outing for the Jets. I think they definitely they got to look in because this is not the team. Well, and like to be honest, you can say this about a lot of teams too. This year, we haven't had a chance to talk about. I haven't had a chance to talk about it. It's just crazy. I think teams are all over the place. There's a lot of high and
Yeah.
lows since these 4 weeks, right? Like two teams came off the gates. Saints, one of those teams again, started off so hot and they kind of fell off these last few weeks, but. I know you wanted to get at least into the fraud, so we jumped into that game, but you forgot and you didn't even go over the Thursday night game, which was first.
Why would I go over the Thursday night game when we have a Cowboys corner that is
Oh,
dedicated to the Cowboys?
Yeah.
Why would I talk about
We actually have a lot of questions for you,
why would
so
I
we're
talk
saving it.
about a game that has a corner in this podcast that's dedicated to the team? Why would I bring that
wow.
game up first?
You're sassy right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Why are you so sassy?
We're gonna talk about
Who hurt your heart?
nobody, dude. I'm just saying. You think that I'm dumb?
The Colts.
I don't think you're
Joe
dumb.
Flacco.
No one said you're
Joe
dumb.
Flacco.
I don't
No,
want to talk
I
about
said-
Joe Flacco. I fucking hate that guy.
I love it, dude. He looks so good.
Okay. Now let's go to the team that should have almost lost, but they held it together. The Vikings and the Packers game was a lot more eventful than I thought it was actually going to be. When I watched the first half, I was like, oh, okay, this game's fucking over. And then, no, the game is not over. Really good game. Jordan Love, good game to come back to. The first game to come back to. It sucks they got a loss, but hey, good for the Vikings, man. I know you hate
a dude that throw a lot of balls. He threw a ton of balls that game. He had 54.
I was going to cover this in the kneecap diner Lions section, but I'll just say it right here. The NFC North is one of, if not the toughest divisions in the league right now, as far as the Bears, they're not going anywhere with Williams this year. Maybe they'll get it together by the end of the year, but the Packers, the Vikings, and the Lions, he has, but I don't take them as seriously right now, maybe next year, but right now, as much as I do the Packers and the Vikings especially, shout out to them. I thought for sure they were going to suck. I don't know what he's squinting his eyes at over there.
I can't confidently say that Caleb Williams has won them 2 games.
No, he hasn't. Their defense is insane.
That's what I was going to say. I don't think
their defense is scary. So as soon as the offense can figure it out, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. But right now they're not. And the Vikings are somehow with Sam Darnold. And we talked about this last week, Alex. I think that's a big indictment on Kirk Cousins because, okay, you can put Sam Darnold in there and you guys are just as good, if not better. Yeah, Kirk, you're a fucking bum.
Yeah.
The Kirk hate again.
Yeah.
Kirk, hey, you're a fucking bum. And the Packers, just to even come back, they could have gave up. Because, I think Jordan Love threw 4 interceptions, which a couple of them were not his fault. Excuse me. I think there was a play specifically where he threw a ball to a guy. It went through his hands. It hit another Green Bay Packer. And then it got caught by a Vikings player. It's like, what the fuck? Like, how do you hit 2 players and then the Vikings still get the interception? But 4 interceptions, but then he came back and threw 3 touchdowns. Like, it's just crazy to see like what he was able to will himself to do after being out of an injury. And that Packers team was still pretty decent too. Definitely made a comeback, made it scary for him. But then, dude, Sam Darnold, they did not do anything in the second half. They balled out and they literally scored 3 points in the third and the fourth quarter, which is crazy. And that 3 points was to literally win the game, was it not?
Yeah, pretty much. Yep.
Yeah.
And so I did not write the Packers off just because they lost this game at all. Like that's nothing. It's a close divisional loss. Big deal. Packers are still very much a scary team.
But Sam Darnold by far is at least my comeback player of the year for one. But if he keeps this up,
What did he come back from though? Sucking?
Yeah, I mean, he was ass. Yeah, he literally didn't do anything. So that's
No,
exactly.
but like when I hear comeback player of the year, it's like a big injury or something that kept him out of football. This guy just sucked.
Well, it just kind of shows you too, kind of like different schemes and how like people can look in like different offenses. We talk about Baker. Baker looked like ass
Yeah.
with the Panthers, went to Tampa, and now he's balling out in Tampa. Like I think it just talks strictly about who you have as an offensive coordinator, a head coach, how they all gel together, and what they do to make these players look great and to make Sam Darnold look great. I mean, shit, that's actually Coach of the Year award to me to start, right? But you can still call him.
Yeah.
If he balls out the rest of the season, this is what he does every single game. There's no way you don't say, hey, this guy might be our MVP. He 100% is our comeback player of the year because he literally didn't do anything. He hasn't been good. He was written off by the team that drafted him, two or three other teams. And this was just like, he wasn't even supposed to be the guy.
Yeah. I think they expected JJ would be in there by now. However, to be honest with you, the way they're playing, let's say JJ didn't get the season-ending injury, I don't think they put him in. They you ride the hot hand and let the kid learn. So I think regardless, it still would have been Sam Darnold's show right now.
You think they would
A
have?
team that's 4-0, we thought they were going to suck. We literally
Yeah.
wrote them as the worst team in the league next to the fucking Giants. The Giants have holded up their end of the bargain, but the Vikings did the complete opposite.
No, I think one team's held up their end of the bargain. That's the Browns. Um, you mentioned it earlier. Baker, did
Yep.
you favor beat down the Eagles? The Eagles might actually be the frauds of this NFL season.
They're definitely the frauds of the NFC.
They are looking a little suspicious. Sirianni might be out of a job after this year, and
Yeah.
the Eagles fans are ruthless. I know you say that, and
They want him gone.
They have. I
Yes.
think we've all expressed hate for this man on the podcast, but they have the most boring offensive coordinator on their team,
Who is he?
Mr. Moore.
Yeah.
Oh,
Alex.
that's right. I always
That guy,
forget
like, dude,
this
I
year
don't
that they
know
have
how
Kellen.
this guy keeps getting offensive coordinator jobs. He looked horrible in LA last year.
Yeah.
He's looking horrible again in this year. And you just had a team. Sure, they finished rough last season. I mean, I think they're 3-10 in the last 13 games or something like that they've played. Brutal. But they like look horrible, and you thought that the guy who looked horrible in LA was like, oh, it's all Brandon Staley. Their offense couldn't do anything. Sure, their defense.
Yeah.
But
I think he's living off of the Cowboys resume, even though the very final play of his Cowboys career was him putting Zeke at center. But because of the numbers that Dak would put up and whatnot, like I think he's still living off that. So the Chargers gave him that chance, which made sense. But you're right, he was awful with them last year. But for whatever reason, the Eagles are like, yeah, bring that over here. I don't know if it was because he just knows the Cowboys that well, or if they just believe that their scheme and their setup with their players would work well with the Kellen Moore style offense. But I can assure you it doesn't. And do we know for sure, is he the play caller or is Sirianni the play caller?
I'm not 100% sure, but why someone is fact checking that for us? The one thing you have to give credit, like it's not giving credit, but it is like acknowledging is that AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, excuse me, are both out.
They
So
were
like
out.
those are his
game.
number
Yep.
one, his number two,
Yep.
and literally all he's riding on is Dallas Goedert, Saquon Barkley, and some three number three wide receiver who I can't even think of off the top of my head who it was. But like they're missing some big pieces, which it is. And Kellen is doing the play calling, which dude, I mean, Kellen is a fraud already. And I think what he's doing too is he's really hurting Jalen Hurts and what Jalen Hurts has, because I like Jalen Hurts a lot. He as a quarterback, as a human, as a person. I think it's not helping him that he has two people out.
Mhm.
But he's like literally,
sure.
he's the most he has the most turnovers as a quarterback in the last like 10 games, something silly like that. He has the most this season so far. Like he is not playing his best ball. And I don't think partly you can blame on Kellen Moore, partly you can blame on decision making. I think that whole team is just trying to figure out their identity of who they are now after that Super Bowl team, because I think they lost a lot after that. They had a good opportunity last year and then just shit the fucking bed, right? That's a Sirianni to me. But they also,
Yeah.
like, you didn't have Saquon. This year they go and get a Saquon and you go, oh my God, this team's going to be fucking nasty. Then their two best wide receivers are hurt. So, I mean, Baker, though, that Tampa thing, I don't think that Tampa team gets credit because that Tampa team is still really
That Tampa
good.
team's so good. Like,
Yeah.
don't let that Denver loss fool anyone. Like, I know I called the Jets frauds for losing to Denver, but that Denver game for the Bucks felt like a trap game. You know,
Yeah.
they come off the big win against the Lions, and then so I just think they overlooked the Broncos a bit. Where I think they still win that division. I think the Saints are going to give them some trouble, but ultimately the Bucks are winning that division. They're a very, very good, well-rounded football team. But I actually have a question for you. I was going to save it for the Cowboys corner, but since we're talking Eagles, I think it's a little bit appropriate to put it here. Are you more worried now about the Commanders than you are the Eagles? Or do you still have the same viewpoint as you did going into the season that the Eagles were the team for the Cowboys to beat?
I would switch it up maybe just a tad, but not as much, right? I think it's a little bit more even than what it was. I definitely gave the Commanders less of an opportunity, which I think they deserve more of an opportunity now to beat us, so they should be more in that conversation. But I think a healthy Eagles team is still a team to be scary. And
Oh
that's
yeah,
that's the team that I'm waiting to see. They can lose these games right now. They're still only 2-2.
right.
Cool. Lose
It's not
three
like they're
more.
losing.
Yeah, exactly. Lose three more, you'll be all right. You'll still make a playoff team. And that's kind of where we thought the NFC East was going. It's going to be a battle. It could be, that 9-8, that 10-7 kind of team that's making it. I mean, 10-7, remember that right? 10-6. Yeah, nine
No,
six.
10-7.
Yeah.
10-7.
So I think you still got to wait because I still think this team is really good. And
Okay.
I think Commanders definitely are a little bit better. But um Alex, I know you're just getting back, but you talked about this guy, so I had to bring it up because you talked about the Buccaneers, how they still are going to potentially win the division. And let's just talk about how this division is going to be fucking psychotic crazy. Did anybody watch that Saints Falcons game?
Dude, wild game.
That was such a good game. It was
I
so
saw bits
good.
and pieces of it. Yeah.
It was a battle to the end, right? And I think it wasn't for Young Hu
Young Hoku. Yeah,
Young Hoku.
it's Young Wei is the
Young Wei
pronunciation, but
Koo.
Young Way. He hit a
yeah,
58
dude,
yarder
he's
to
a
win the
stud.
game, bro. That
Yeah, I
was
saw
it.
that.
Yeah. As soon as I saw them driving on that last play, I was like, damn, if they get anywhere close, he's gonna nail this. He's accurate as shit. And this is like that was a dog fight. I think the Saints scored within like a minute, some seconds left. The Falcons have done this twice, by the way. Right. I think they did it last week at the same situation where I forgot who they beat, but they I can't even
Well,
think.
this is how they
Big
beat
team.
the Eagles, where
Oh, okay.
they beat the Eagles in the 2-minute, the 2-minute drill where they just
That's what it
charged
was.
down.
It
Yeah.
was the Eagles, yep, and where they won that game last minute. But I mean, dude, they looked that game. Both teams look good, but the Saints have kind of dropped off recently. I think they had such a hot streak, right? They
hmm
lost out against Carolina, beat the shit out of Dallas. Then they go and lose some mid game. I think they were just way too high on their horses. I think they lost to the Eagles, right?
Yep.
Yeah, which I mean, still not bad. It was 15-12, but that you want to talk boring games. That was another boring game a couple weeks ago. And then they come out to the Falcons. I think you get to see them back, but I don't think they were what everybody thought they were to begin with, right? I think as soon as
Yeah.
they saw them dominate teams, they're like, oh, power rankings top 10. Don't go too far. They still got Derek Carr.
Yeah,
He's
that's fair.
still losing the game.
That's fair.
The like quarterback slander in this podcast is unbelievable.
Well, you know what, dude? Quarterbacks are the main position.
I slander one quarterback.
No, you don't.
You also slander Lamar a lot.
Yes, because he's in my division. A
But you
non-division,
still slander it.
Okay, a non-divisional QB that you slander. I'll think on this and get back to you, but you definitely do it.
Okay. Hey,
How do you like Brissett?
I mean, he's gonna be fucking. It's the
He's
Patriots.
just gonna say whatever.
Yeah,
gets
see,
into
he
the
has more
line
slander
right
than what
now.
he thinks. But like, I mean, at the end of the day, Derek Carr has a history of not being able to pull through and win these games.
Yeah.
I
You're not
mean,
wrong.
how many times was he a Raider and how far did they get? Nowhere. Then, last year he looked like ass. I think they have a better offensive system with Kubiak's son. I don't know his first name, but I thought they looked super impressive in the Cowboys win. Like, I thought that was just,
Yeah. That was all Kamara.
yeah, for sure. But then they go against the Eagles, and like, I was shocked by that because it was an ugly game from both ends. I mean, just was surprised by how they played. But the Falcons, dude, I mean, they're surprising me more and more each week. I don't think Kirk Cousins is the second coming of Jesus by any means, but I think he has so many weapons on that offense too. Like they'll get the job done. But that's what he did with the Vikings. How many times did they have closeout wins? Like it was last minute, and like he's fucking up this entire game, and then all of a sudden he's in the lead and they're winning the game with 30 seconds left. I
Yeah,
can
it's
think
it's
about how
easy to
many.
have a winning record and play like shit when the rest of your team is really good and they
Yeah.
save you to then at the last second you can play hero.
And
I
that
love how
Falcons
it's a
defense is dirty.
yes, it
Like you
is.
want to talk about a mean team, like that defense is pretty mean. They're probably one of I think they're one of my favorites to watch this year so far.
Jesse Bates is unbelievable. I'll
Yeah.
just say
And
that.
then add Matthew Judon. I mean, he's always going to be in the mix of all that.
Yeah, that was a nice addition for them for
We've been
sure.
talking a lot about defense. I don't know if you guys covered this game, but a game
No, we
that
just covered this game.
pure offense was the Bengals Panthers, which I did not think was going to happen.
The Panthers giving a run for the money. Andy Dalton at the helm. I mean, this is just crazy in general.
Got
Anyway,
58
Both
points.
defenses are awful.
Horrible. I was like, okay, cool. Like this, remember when I was like, this is gonna be a shitty game. And then all of a sudden I was like, this is actually a fun game to watch. Like
yeah.
they're kind of just like throwing the ball everywhere and doing what they want to. And I don't have I have Steeler hate for my people that I don't like on our team. Johnson was one of them. Kind of sucks that he's doing pretty okay this year. I'm like, where the fuck was this the last 2 years that you were?
He didn't have a quarterback.
He didn't have a quarterback. I mean, do we think that
He still doesn't.
Kenny Pickett was ass, bro. That's why he didn't look halfway decent.
Yeah, and then he's on
Honestly,
ass. He's on
dude,
ass.
this Panther team with Andy Dalton is crazy. Like, I can't believe they take out Bryce Young, throwing Andy Dalton. This team looks like a whole. This team looks so different. They look night and day different. They're scoring points. They're making teams competitive. The Bengals absolutely look like ass. I think they already did a lot of weird things in the offseason to like with Jamar Chase. They got rid of some key players. I was like, why are you doing that? And then
Thank you for DJ Reader.
Yeah, I will say Brown, this Chase Brown kid looks pretty good. Like he
one
looks.
game.
I mean, he looks pretty good. I don't know. Like I guess it's against Carolina as well, so it's not like too much to go off of. But he looks pretty good. And talk about. Remember when we were like, "Oh man, the AFC North is going to be the division." You've got one really really good team, and then you've got one team that's doing enough to win. And then you've got two other teams that are really bad. And
I'm stupid over here, so please put labels to those monikers. Who's the team that's just killing everyone?
The Ravens. They're so good. They are scary good.
At 2-2, they're still really good.
You know why I think that they're scary good is because the first two games they were like, you know what? We're gonna not use Derrick Henry. I think that's our game plan. And then the last 2 weeks, they're like, you know what? We have this crazy freak in the backfield. Maybe we should use it. And now it's scary. Their defense is scary. The way that they're using Derrick Henry is scary. Lamar is looking better because now he can just go, hey, 25 times, take the ball so I don't have to do everything for our team. And then, like I said, it's doing enough to win the games is the Steelers. Except for this week, unfortunately. They had a really good second half. We'll talk about it. But and then the two other teams shit the bed. They shouldn't be shitting. Well, one of them always is going to shit the bed because they're brown. And then the other team, who knew that this was going to happen? Who knew?
Yeah, I actually owe you a big apology for saying that the Bengals were going to surprise everybody and win the division this year because they're not even going to come close. That defense is awful. I don't care how good Joe Burrow plays. that defense is going to lose them a lot of games this
I'm
year.
not saying that it was. I'm not saying that their offensive coordinator was like this good, but it's something to say that the Titans' offense, besides a couple mistakes from Will Levis, doesn't look horrible.
Oh my god.
And
we can get that guy later.
yeah, that guy. But besides those couple mistakes by their quarterback who's making decisions, that offense doesn't look bad. And now the Bengals look bad. Like it's like weird. I didn't know how that was going to work for them, but it might have been a good thing, and it might have sucked for the Bengals to lose their really good offense coordinator, I guess.
You know what though? Don't count them out, man. This is how they did the Super Bowl. I'm just waiting because they did the Super Bowl. I think they were like 1-3
true.
same scenario here, and then they made it to the fucking Super Bowl. All he's got to do is Joey B's just got to get on a hot streak and start getting connected. And then, I mean, at a certain point, if he can get hot with Jamar Chase and they just lob it and catch it,
yep.
Ain't no stopping him.
I want to skip a couple of these games because.
Oh wait, what?
Yes.
There's a couple of one. Okay. Which one do you want to
I want to
skip?
skip a couple of them. I don't want to talk about the Raiders and the Browns because you know how much.
Yep.
Yeah. That was a
Don't care
boring
about
game.
Pointless game.
The 49ers Patriots game, we knew that was going to happen. Who cares?
Yeah.
And then I don't know if you guys talked about it, but the Commanders game, Jaden Daniels looks fucking crazy.
That's all we talked about was Jaden Daniels, and that's all there really is to talk about right now is just how impressive he looks as a rookie. Like he doesn't look like a rookie. He's so calm and poised out there. He's going to be special, and it sucks though that McJamm had to watch the guy that he rooted for at ASU, who then left him, and then went on to win the Heisman, and then now comes in the NFL to beat his NFL team. Like that does suck. So I'd like to hear McJamm's opinion of Jaden Daniels. Does he still have love for him, or is this a guy that he can't stand now?
Nah, I got big love for Jaden Daniels. He's a beast. It was definitely upsetting watching him destroy the Cardinals, but big Jaden Daniels. I might get a jersey, honestly.
Oh,
there you go.
I like
so
it.
he still has love for Jaden Daniels. That's good
This
to
Commanders
hear.
teams look good. Ryan Robinson,
They're so good.
Ran down their throat, dude. He was
Terry McLaurin was a beast too.
Yeah. It's so funny because you guys know I live like right by the stadium. I can literally watch it. And dude, like we were worried about traffic being all crazy. This 42-14. I was like, oh, they left at halftime. People were gone. Right. And so it was one of those things where at the end of it, you're like, this isn't even a game to watch because there's nothing to watch.
I was so surprised about that though. I knew obviously Jaden's been hot. This Commanders team has been hot, but I thought for sure the way the Cardinals have been playing so far this year that it was going to at least be a really tight game. So that was shocking.
It was super shocking. Alex, can we get into the next midday game?
No, I want to skip to this game and talk about how the fuck did the Chiefs keep winning but lose all of their damn players.
Okay.
This game was awful too. You want to talk about a boring game? It was 10-10 to the end of the game. It was literally boring.
It's so frustrating to see the team that possibly could three-peat this year. They have the chance. They're fucking 4-0. That they are winning these games that they should lose. Like they theoretically, the way that they've been playing, they could be 0-4. Like they haven't played.
Absolutely.
Good. Like that's kudos to them for being 4-0, but it's so frustrating to see this AFC. Like you guys are both in the NFC. And so but to see to go from the Patriots to now the Chiefs, it's just so frustrating. And as an AFC team to be like, dude, like how are we not like beating the Chiefs when they give you the opportunity to beat them? Like they are literally, it's the same thing.
They never are. You never get an opportunity.
Fucking way. It's like, oh, they played really, really bad, but somehow they're fucking 11-5, and you're like, awesome. 13-2, and you're like, fucking awesome. I don't know how.
And then they light it up in the playoffs.
Dude, it's so annoying, and it's just like they've even said it themselves that they played bad these last 4 games, but it's they keep winning.
Yeah, one human doing it all.
Well,
when you have Mahomes, who is the Tom Brady of this era, I know it's a really big comparison, but he's fucking living up to it. He can literally win these games. He literally is going to gut this out.
If they three-peat, he might even not like that he's going to be Tom Brady, but it's like
got a lot more to still do. But
you're in a conversation that you've three-peated and you have 4 titles. in your first six.
Oh yeah.
Like you're the only quarterback in the NFL history to ever win 3 championships back to back to back. And so
I'm gonna knock on wood though. Losing Pacheco, losing Rice, like this is gonna. It's already so hard to
Hollywood
do it.
Brown.
It's gonna be crazy if they can
Kelce,
even make it that far.
Travis Kelce looked better this game. He looked a lot better this game.
When you have one person to throw to the entire game, he better look like he better be good. You don't have anyone else to really throw to, and it just. But then this offense is so dumb good that like they can be like, you know what, Alex, Chris, Justin, you're going to be our 3 receivers, and you know our scheme's going to be so good that one of you is going to be open. So just be prepared for the ball.
But you know what? See, this is where it's not a like. Yes, part of it is Patrick Mahomes. Andy Reid is a fucking.
Andy Reid's a genius. He's an offensive genius.
He is literally a mastermind. He
and
can
Spags just doesn't know.
Program. Yep, and you know what? And that's why they have a winning culture. It's like Bill Belichick and Tom Brady is Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, just like Donovan McNabb was with Andy Reid, right? I think they still were a really good team and they still made it to a Super Bowl, made very playoffs appearances. But like then you get Patty, who's a level up from Donovan, and man, this dude he's gonna win you the games. Yeah, this team looks. It's crazy that this team is barely gutting out these wins. Like, this is what I wish the Cowboys would do, but the Cowboys either lose it all or take it all. There's no in between.
What is the other?
So I know that real quick though, I know that a torn ACL is probably one of, if not the most common injuries in the sport. But the way that happened for Rashee Rice has got to be one of the most unique injuries I have ever seen. Mahomes throws a pick. They're both chasing down the defender. Mahomes goes for the tackle and just blows out Rashee's knee. Like that was a crazy sequence.
Right before he blows it out, he's even able to strip the guy to get a chance to get the ball back.
Right.
Strip it, but then Mahomes' shoulder just goes right into his knee. And it's like
that was wild.
And it's just it's actually pretty sad for Rashee Rice. Like he was having a year. Like it was like I hate to see people get injured. Like I don't care what team they're on, but it's just like that's crazy that they're able to do that. They're able to get a win against a division rival. Fucking dumb. Hate that. And then yeah, it just makes me mad that the Chiefs are still finding a way to be 4-0 and they fucking have nobody.
I saw a lot of Chiefs fans now rooting for the punishment for Rashee Rice to come down now and punish him now while he's out. And it's just like, I don't think it works that way.
Yeah.
You know what? If I was a Chiefs fan, I would want that all this contract talk about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce to be true, have them break up and have Travis Kelce just go on this fucking revenge.
It's not going to happen.
I understand.
He's done.
You think so? You think he's done?
I don't. When I say done, I don't mean he's going to go out there and suck. When I say he's done, I mean we've seen peak Travis Kelce. He is just not locked in as to the same degree. He's not in the same shape anymore. Now, as the season goes on, he'll probably obviously get in better conditioning and better shape, but it just seems like there's so much going on in his personal life that he's not locked in the way he used to be.
He just launched that TV show.
Yeah. We've seen peak Travis Kelce already.
100%. He's setting up his life for after the NFL right now. He's doing a really good job. But you talked about someone who's real. Can we talk about another fraud? Trevor Lawrence.
Bring it. Absolutely.
Jaguars and the Texans. First off, the fact that Jaguars even made that game a game is what's beyond me. But Trevor Lawrence just got paid all this money to just suck ass. I mean, yeah, he did 2 TDs, but he went 18 for 33. Yeah, bro. What?
I think we talked about this week 1.
He's a bust.
Or something like that. But it was like, sure, like you have to. Someone's going to pay him, obviously, right? Someone's going to pay him. A team is going to pay him. You would just assume that your team would be better with him, hopefully. But he just hasn't lived up to that contract. You know, there's one guy who's a worse bust than him with a contract. We all know I hate this one quarterback. But he's living up. I know this is his first year in this contract, but if he plays like this for the next 4 years, he might be another guy that's just like, why the hell did we pay this guy
Dude, I don't know why they paid him to begin with.
dollars a year?
I would have let him walk. Like he did nothing for me to go, yeah, this guy's a future stud. Maybe they go, oh, he just needs more pieces. They had some pieces. Well, now they get these pieces and he still looks like trash. Like to me, you really, I don't know, you dropped the ball on this one. I think you paid a man too early based off being afraid that you couldn't get someone better or be better without him, which you could have probably done that easy. And I think you look at this game and go, the Texans need Joe Mixon.
Oh my gosh.
Oh
They
yeah.
need a running back. They need a true down and pound back. Like, because this is like, they still balled out. I mean, CJ Stroud still went 27 for 40. Still had 2 TDs, but man.
You might be in the sophomore slump, not for like CJ, but for the Texans. This is their sophomore year together. You might just be seeing them like they're winning their
I
game.
think
We're still 3-1.
Yeah, they're doing good, but
I think teams just know what to expect more from them now.
Yeah. Like that was a very interesting game.
I was just shocked that they came in that close and that was even a game. But I saw Trevor Lawrence throw so many overthrown footballs, like not even close to the receiver, not doing this. You don't pay someone that much money and then you just suck.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. But
Brock Osweiler, Deshaun Watson, Kirk Cousins.
Browns,
those are all players who can't live up to the hype.
The Browns love to do it, and I love when they do it. We have a Sunday night game that should have been a lot better than it actually was.
That was good. It was really good.
The Ravens learned how to play a fucking offensive football last week, and they just are showing us over and over again now that they know how to play offensive football. And you know what? We're going to let Derrick Henry run for 199 yards or whatever it was.
That's crazy.
I think on 20 attempts. It's like, did you even?
They were trying to get him that 200. He could just not break it, dude.
I think he was what, 2 yards shy, 1 yard.
A yard.
Shy?
He was 199 yards.
Yeah,
he literally needed a yard, but he was just getting stuffed towards the end. But in the beginning of the game, that man was not stuffed at all. Yes, it should have been a better game, being close, but I still think it was a really exciting game because, dude, he ran all over them. They looked good. The Ravens just looked hot.
Yeah, the Ravens look good. The only thing I need to see out of them is just a little bit more out of their pass game, just for those games where Derrick Henry or that run game isn't getting going like it should. Show me that your pass game can take it over. So I think that's the only thing I'm waiting on for them, and otherwise they're right there at the top of the AFC.
But you gotta get Derrick Henry. You shouldn't have that many games where you just are like, oh, we're struggling
you shouldn't.
to get a run game going. No, this should never really be an excuse because you have Lamar or Derrick.
And Justice Hill.
And Justice Hill is a beast.
And then it's kind of like sad to see this, but it's like the Bills were looking good, but then it's just this is their youth coming in. Their youth, their lack of defense. Just this is what happens when you play the potentially number 1 team in the AFC this year. Like, this is what happens when you run into them. It's like they are stout on both ends of the team.
Yes, I think that's the difference. They haven't played a good defense. And this was a good defense that they had to play against. And not Josh Allen he didn't even look bad, to be honest with you. I don't know if you guys watched that sideline throw that he had. That was like, dude, what the fuck? That was crazy. He threw the ball still down 40 yards, but he was literally about to be out of bounds and just launched that sucker and got a first down. He tried. He willed his team. But they played the Cardinals, the Dolphins, and the Jags, and then they played the Ravens. So they played some mediocre teams, and then they faced what's a true competition. They got another competition next week when they take on the Texans. So I still thought it was a good game. I didn't think it was a bad outing for them. I just didn't think it was definitely where you see, oh, they're young. Yeah, they're learning.
Yeah.
Well, this is why I say it's a bad outing for them, is because Josh Allen in the last 54 games or something like that has thrown a touchdown. This was the one game that he didn't.
Yeah.
And it was just like the defense commanded what they did.
Ravens just looked so good, though. Derrick Henry, he looked great.
I don't even want to touch the Texans game. Mason Rudolph came in, good for him.
Titans, you mean? Close.
Yeah, the Titans game.
So I want to talk a little bit about something about these teams. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Because both of them are quarterback based.
Yep.
So first off, I didn't get to talk about Tua dying. Tua, I'm so sorry, brother. I'm happy you got paid. I hope the Dolphins somehow carry out your contract and you can still keep paid. But like, if you don't medically retire, I don't know what your life's going to look like in the next 20 to 30 years. Because, dude, when I saw you it wasn't a big hit. You didn't take a massive hit. All you did was put your head down.
Which he shouldn't have done.
Yes, you crippled. First off, yeah, why are you leading with your fucking head knowing you have all these concussions? Slide, dumbass. Secondly, dude, you literally died on the field. Like your like you were just in a shock. You're stiff. You just stop. I get you want to play. I get the grind. I get it. But dude, you're just hurting yourself and your longevity. But that team looks like ass without him. That team is going to be ass for a minute. And I think someone was saying this maybe a couple weeks ago that Mike McDonald is kind of not, is it Mike? It's Mike McDaniels. Thank you. That he's kind of a fraud. I can kind of see it right now. Because I mean, they played with Josh Johnson.
No, they played with Skylar Thompson, and then they played with I'm blanking on it. Tyler Huntley.
Tyler Huntley. Thank you.
Yes.
So I mean, still looked like complete ass. And the Titans didn't even look good. They just did more. They ran more. They played a little bit more. Will Levis. This dude cracks me up. I have nothing but to root for him. I want him to be successful in the NFL. Dude,
Why,
in these last 4
crazy?
weeks have been so funny. It's like watching Pee Wee football, where the quarterback is just doing something where you're like, what the fuck was that? Like, you're in the NFL making these mistakes. And I love that the coach was like, he's like, yeah, he's making dumb mistakes. He knows it. Like, because you do. How are you like fumbling the football doing something stupid? How are you trying to get the ball out last minute and just throw a pick like that? Like, just eat the sack. I'd rather eat the sack and punt the football.
But I think on this show going forward, he just needs to be referred to as Carson Wentz 2.0 because that's exactly the style of ball he likes to play.
Well, who knows?
I just wish he would be smarter.
Who knows if he even gets a chance because Mason Rudolph came in and
Mason Rudolph looked like ass, dude. He went like 9 for something, 18 or something shitty, bro. It was like it wasn't more impressive, right? It wasn't like, oh my God, he came in and saved them. No, he just got the job done. He went 9 for 17 on 85 yards. The difference is he gave Tony the ball 29 times, and I think he gave their other running back like a bajillion carries. What's his name? I can't even think of his name.
Spears.
Spears. He had 15 carries.
Good for them. And I think that's all we have for the week 4 recap.
You're missing one more Monday night game. Wait. Okay. My bad. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
I like when you lead with
You've been gone too long.
I'm weak.
I think it's only fair that the man who has been gone from us for the last 2, maybe 3 weeks is rightfully here to break down everything that comes with the awe-inspiring team that gets so much love, but I don't know if they deserve it.
So much love, not at all.
Their Cowboy teams, their fans love them.
Yeah. But they hate us. A lot of fucking people hate us. So don't be stouting like everybody loves the fucking Cowboys because that is not the fucking case.
Can I do my intro?
No, because you're wrong. We get so much hate. You're a Steelers fan. We get way more hate than you.
Can I do my intro?
Yeah, finish.
Oh my God, America's team over here wants to argue about everything. I can't do it because my baby boy just went down to sleep. I don't know if your baby boy went down to sleep.
Yeah,
he did. So we're gonna do.
We need to do this in a controlled environment where I can just let my lungs loose and give this segment the volume that it deserves.
I love when your lungs are loose, buddy. I can't wait for that. They are loose and they are juiced up to have a Cowboys corner, but I will give it my best rendition with a baby asleep. And I would love to hear the 4 weeks recap on a special edition of a Cowboys Corner where we have Justin with the beautiful smile telling us all about his Cowboys.
Oh, okay. So this is my entrance. This is my time to go. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. All right. Well, dude, I mean, are we shocked? I think Chris is a little bit because he had them a little higher than all this, but I'm not shocked at all. This last week was kind of a tragedy, knowing that we lost, DeMarcus Lawrence. Now he's on IR, so he's at least out 4 weeks. Michael Parsons got carted off that game too. We still pulled out an ugly win, but we got a win in MetLife. Dak is he's like tied, I think, for the most wins against a single divisional opponent, which is the Giants. So fuck the Giants. We love this. We love being on the New York teams. Other than that, I think it's very clearly evident that we have no supporting cast other than Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and a good defense. Because no offense to our wide receivers and Brandon Cooks and Jalen Tolbert and Zeke Elliott and Rico Dow. But Rico Dow was not a Derrick Henry who we could have got on this offseason.
Try.
What?
They didn't even want to try. They didn't
even want to try. And then they talk about trying to make in-season moves to go get a wide receiver. Well, Brandon Cooks isn't the issue. And it's not that the issue. They're not bad. But how do you expect Dak to do what you did without the talent that you have around him? Like, it just is confusing to me to think we have a decent team, but our offense has no weapons other than CeeDee Lamb. You come in and go, oh, we're going to get Zeke because he'll be the great running back for us. Maybe 8 years ago, dude. Like, maybe when he was originally drafted and then the next 3 years after that, but that's it. Like, what are you doing? It's interesting. I think they have so much that they need to get together and work with. I mean, Mike McCarthy is still calling plays and they're not doing great. So this might be a great opportunity to fire his ass. Mike Zimmer is still doing good with the defense. It's hard to do bad with that defense. That's literally what I think, right? I mean, you have a talented line, you have a talented back, and then you have some players in our linebackers that have stepped up and overshown. He's a beast, dude. That dude's been all over the field watching him play. I told you guys last year I was so stoked to see him play, and he's holding up to what I thought he would be last year. So that's really nice to see. I don't know, man. Beat the Browns pretty single-handedly. That gave me a lot of confidence going into the season. Then we get whooped by the fucking Saints. The Ravens game wasn't even bad. We almost came back and won, but we looked like shit for 1 through 3. Literally, most of that came in the fourth quarter, and then towards the end of the third quarter, Dak started coming back. But we had 19 points scored in the fourth quarter to try and win that game. It literally came down to being a nail biter. But why did he even have to get there? You should have showed up through the rest of the game. He didn't want to win it at the end. That's not how we win football games. And then the Giants, we didn't even look that impressive. So I think we got an easy win coming up this week. Super size. It's a really good motivation for us to get forward. And I'm really excited to look forward to that opponent because this is a hyped game.
Don't you dare. Bad time.
I'm so excited for this game.
It's going to be a really good game. I think we have a lot to prove, and so do they.
Yeah.
So it will be a tough game. And then I'm really afraid to play the games after that. I mean, I think we have a chance to be the 49ers since they're more injury riddled than we are. But I mean, the Lions, I'm not really looking forward to, unless your guy keeps throwing pass interference plays, dude. That dude.
Yeah, I know, for real.
Anyways,
that should be we can talk about it, but yeah.
Cowboys corner, dude. I mean, you guys probably have more questions than I actually have to statement because really, I just need to see more right now. I think time tells all. And dude, it's only 2-2. We're 4 games into the season. Take a deep breath, ride it out. We need 10-7 to win this division. That's how we're going to win. Chris first, then Alex. You've been fighting with me all day.
With the injuries you guys have on your D line, are you looking to just wait it out and get those guys back, or are you looking for Jerry Jones to make a move to add to that?
Dude, at this point, anything over nothing. But I think if you're gonna make moves, make other moves. I think gut it out. Yeah, it's gonna suck. Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit tight. Go get a receiver that we can actually have help. Go get a running back that we can actually use and utilize and be better for. Go do something that's going to make our offense more productive because that's the fucking issue. I think it sucks to lose these defensive players, and it would be nice, but when they come back in 4 to 6 weeks, What are you going to do with that guy you just traded for? You're really going to let Micah Parsons walk? No, you're not dumb. So then you just wasted asset for something that you knew you were already going to have when you just got back. No, if you're going to do something and say that you're going to do something which you haven't done so far, keep talking. Go make a move with a special player. Go get a wide receiver, a running back that we desperately need to make this
Devontae Adams, a T. Higgins.
Yeah, dude. If they want to get rid of him for a second round pick, I would have already called.
Yeah,
done, easy, dude. We have CD and Devontae Adams. What are we doing? Is it a cap thing? What is it? I mean, we don't know. What's up, Al? What's your question?
I have two questions. One,
it's two-part.
No, it's not two-part. It's just two different.
Okay,
For one, do you think Cowboys fans will give up on Jerry Jones if he doesn't even attempt to reach out to get Tay Adams?
No, because they'll just know that's exactly who he is. Yeah, I mean,
it's fair.
Oh, they already do. They already hate the man.
Yeah, they've turned on him strong this year.
My second question is, it's not the Giants. Between the Eagles and the Commanders, which team, because you're saying 10-7 is going to get it done, the Commanders look, I know that they have a rookie quarterback and they have all these things, but they look good at 3-1. Who do you fear more, I guess, going in?
Who do I fear more?
So while you were gone, Alex, I actually asked this exact question because of how good Jaden Daniels looked, and he said that he still fears the Eagles more if they can get fully healthy and whatnot.
Because that team's still with AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts. That's just a stud of a team. I think the Commanders are looking so good in retrospect, right? And I'm super happy for them. And they're still going to be a tough team, especially with Dan Quinn, who was just on the Cowboys for the last couple of years. I think that'll make it a little bit more challenging, to say the least, too. But I think at the end of the day, if a healthy Eagles team is there, that's the team I'm worried about. And if that goes down to the end of the season, and it's the Eagles-Commander games that we have to play, I'm more worried about having to win that Eagles game than I'm going to have to be about winning that Commanders game.
I want to say this
fair.
Just because I would have loved to see Cliff Kingsbury go to the Eagles, because I don't think he's that great of a head coach, but he is a good offensive coordinator, and he's proved it in what he's doing with Jaden Daniels. Can you imagine what he would be doing with that power of an offense?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I've always thought the Commanders have had a really good team too.
Hater, though. You are such a hater, bro.
Okay, I am a hater on him because he didn't deserve the Cardinals head coaching job to begin with.
That's fine. He
didn't do anything as a coordinator in college.
Hey, we're here to talk about one thing. This is still the Cowboys corner, so shut the fuck up. We ain't talking about Jaden Daniels. This is now concluding. Well, you have one last question?
Yeah, one more question. So going into arguably probably your hardest week of the season.
Did my eye roll get through? Or did I need to do it again?
It did. Does losing that defensive front? Well, is Parsons out?
Yeah.
Or is he's at how
yes,
long?
He's definitely out at least the next few weeks.
Is he on IR or are they just
no?
He's not
yet.
Okay, cool. Does that worry you going into this next game?
No.
Okay.
Nope. I mean,
Alex, to be honest, he should be afraid of your defense, not your offense.
No, yeah. I understand, but when you can't rush a quarterback, because our offensive line is actually pretty good, but when you can't rush a quarterback and you give anybody time,
you ready for this?
It doesn't matter how good your secondary is.
Ready for this?
Anybody time.
You know who you have at quarterback? Justin Fields. Mic drop. Done. Shut up. Nothing else. That's all I needed to say. That's all I needed to say. I think he's doing better for you, and we'll get into this now that you want to go do it.
I cannot wait and fucking steal because
let's talk, buddy. Let's just merge this from a Cowboys corner to a steel curtain. Hey, excuse me. I'm doing an intro real quick for us so we can get into this bad boy.
Yeah, put on your hard hat, Alex.
Yeah. Put on your hard hat. Shut up. Did you clock in yet? Are you clocked in?
I've been clocked in.
Oh, good. Well, good, because we're getting ready to do a mesh where the Cowboys corner meets the steel curtain. And let's talk about this, but steel mill, whatever it is. I don't give a shit. What do you want to do?
What is my area called?
It's the steel mill. Right?
See, this is what
You
happens when you
dogs.
take a few weeks off. You got the ring
I've been
rust
out,
coming
dude. I've
back.
been in another world. What is it? The
It's
iron.
the
No, I'm just
steel
kidding.
mill. Yes.
It's the steel mill.
So, rough outing. I thought that like looked pretty good in the second half. First half, just like, and it was what I think happened was no matter if they had Richardson in, I think we had a better chance. He looked good, but I think that our defense would have figured him out. Unfortunately, that guy needs to figure out how to not get hurt.
He's a
But
glass.
we had our arch nemesis come in who knows our defense so well. Like our defense really hasn't fucking changed. Joe Flacco, who played for the Baltimore Ravens forever, okay, who played the Steelers twice a year, sometimes 3 times a year, forever. So you have like it was when I saw him come in, I was like, this fucking game couldn't get any worse because you have the one guy who I didn't want to see playing quarterback. It's like the one guy who knows our defense better than anybody else in the football league is playing fucking quarterback. He knows how we operate. We don't really change up that much. It's a really, really good defense. So it's like, oh, we're not going to change it up. But it's like this guy has played it so many fucking times. And it was, as it seems, we lost the game. It sucks to see.
As
It's not
it
a fact.
seems.
Sucks. But it's gonna happen. It's bound to happen. I'm happy it happened this week and not next week. But
I have to say, because this is just something not even on topic of the Steelers. Anthony Richardson, first off, you guys see his hip injury play.
Yeah.
He was literally takes a couple snaps out, then gets back in. The next play, he runs a fucking football. Did an RPO. First off, the Colts are idiots for calling that RPO, knowing this dude was injured already, and he took a shot to the hip and he's down again. First man is made of glass. If he could stay healthy, this is arguably going to be one of he's probably one of the most talented people at quarterback in the league. He just cannot stay healthy, and he's so raw because he can't stay healthy that he can't play a fucking game because he's so good, man. When he can launch the football and do things, dude, the dude's a beast. But
that was a hot.
yes, as soon as Joe Flacco went in, I was like, oh, this team's toast, dude. Joe Flacco was looking mighty. He
This
looked
man,
good.
Richardson is one of the top quarterbacks in the league. That was a hot take.
That was a hot take. He can be.
I'm looking at him with a different pair of eyes, I guess.
If he stays healthy, that dude can launch the ball 6 yards down the field on a dime. He
awesome.
can run the ball like Cam Newton. He's the size of Cam Newton, but he's just made of glass. Like if Cam Newton was made of glass, this would be him.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's.
I loved Cam Newton, but this is my style of quarterback that I enjoy watching play. I loved watching Cam Newton. I love watching Michael Vick. I love watching Jalen Hurts. I like watching Lamar. I just named African American quarterbacks, I know, but at the end of the day, I also like people who can just run the fucking football. You know what I mean? Like I like quarterbacks that are dual threats, and especially when he's a size of LeBron James out there at quarterback. Like it's just fun, it's exciting.
Hey Justin, what's your favorite quarterback archetype? I like a brother that can run.
Yeah, I like a brother that can run.
Okay. Thank you. So what I will say is Justin Fields every week has progressively getting better.
Oh, I don't like him, so as a brother, I don't like.
He progressively getting better every week.
He is though.
Offense is looking better every week. That first half was I was shocked watching that first half. I was like, what's going on right now? Like we couldn't seem to get it done. We were making dumb. The thing that was happening, I think, to us is for the 3 weeks before, we weren't making dumb plays. And then this week came around and we made all the dumb plays. Like we made the plays that we shouldn't have done. We had the fumbles that we shouldn't have had. It's like it's the things of like, hey, Pickens, you're fighting for the extra yard, and then you fumble the ball on the 4-yard line.
Dumbass.
Like, what are we doing there? Like we are literally going to score, but we don't. And it's so, yes, it's Justin Fields has 3 rushing touchdowns this season. He's looking good with his arm. Like he's getting progressively better and better. And our defense, we took a hit in Highsmith last week, losing him. That's our second best edge runner. And then we put Herbig in and he's looked awesome, which has been great. Our secondary still looks pretty good. Like we are there. We just need to now put it all together and we need to do it consistently. And Justin Fields needs to just be consistent And like you said, he's been like I have no qualms with Justin Fields at all. I think he's been doing really, really great for us.
Like just 2 fumbles.
Like I said, all the mistakes that we haven't had over the 3 weeks. We had 1 turnover over 3 weeks, and then this week happened, right?
How's a 33-year-old your top running back, and he's injured now? Cordell Patterson is arguably your best running back on that field. He just injured himself last game. Dude, he ran for 7.2 yards per carry. He had 9 attempts for 43 yards. Najee Harris had 13 attempts for 19 yards, 1.5. You're telling me the second coming to Derrick Henry couldn't run more than 19 yards on 13 attempts?
One game. Look at the 3 games before.
I did.
No, I'm with you. I'm sorry, Alex, but Najee Harris just has not lived up to the hype that he had coming out of Alabama.
So okay. Hey, that's 1 game. So he went 18 for 70 at 3.9. Still ass. He's 3.9. You're literally Derrick Henry. Grow some balls. Get to 5. Get to 4. Oh, he's at 4. Get to 5. Then Denver 17 for 69. Atlanta 20 for 70. This dude hasn't broken 100 yards yet this season, Alex.
That's okay, yes. But what I'm saying is for the past 3 seasons, he's rushed over 1,000 yards.
Jaylen Warren isn't even playing.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Okay, dude. Cordell Patterson is by far, he hasn't had many attempts yet, but like the dude's hitting off 8.3 yards per carry against the Chargers. He went 4 for 33. He went 2 for 3 against Denver, not too great. 4 for 13 against Atlanta, but I just don't think they knew how to use him yet. Now he's picking up stream and he's doing good. Jaylen Warren isn't even been in. Is he injured?
Hold on. Okay, you're taking over the steel mill. Okay, I need you to. Okay, and so
the union's coming back in.
Yeah, the fucking union's gonna shut your ass up. Okay, what I need you to understand is when you're saying that they don't know how to use Cordell Patterson, that's a damn lie because Artie Smith was his coach literally last year, brought him over. They know how to use him. When you have Najee Harris, right? Don't fucking laugh at Artie Smith, okay? When you have Najee Harris, who has been a consistent running back, sure, would we like to see more? You can't say he hasn't been a consistent running back when you run for 3 years over 1,000 yards. That is a consistent running back. Am I wrong in that statement that if you had a running back on your team that rushed over 1,000 yards for 3 years every single year, that's not a consistent running back?
I'll give you that. That is a consistent running back.
You're saying he's the second coming of Derrick Henry. He hasn't lived up to that hype. That's awesome. That sucks for us that he hasn't lived up to the hype, right? That hasn't lived up to being Derrick Henry. He's just as big, but he doesn't seem to have that power that we wish that he would have. But when he rushes over 1,000 yards, it's like cool. Like, hey, at least he's doing something and he's not a complete bust. You guys talk about him like he's a fucking complete bust, okay? Sure. Did he run
as a fantasy running back? He is a bust.
I'm not like
he sucks for fantasy football.
Fantasy. I am talking about a running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers, not in a fucking fantasy lineup. Okay, I'm talking about a running back for the fucking Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay,
how many touchdowns?
I actually don't know how many touchdowns he has.
7 and 8 every season.
He's scoring once every other game. Our offense had
proud of that
the helm for 2 years where he.
I understand, but Steelers football is running the ball. So the 1,000 yards isn't. It should almost be a given for the Steelers. Where's the touchdowns?
Okay, I can't. I fucking can't with you guys. Okay.
7, 7, 8, and 0 is what he had for TDs.
He is 0 this year.
But
that's a problem.
But when we have those close, but he has 0. But when we have those close yards,
Justin Fields has 2 though.
He has 3.
Sorry, he had 2 this last game.
So you should have 3. But when you have when you get down this fucking guy. How many fucking touchdowns does Zeke have?
Dude, I didn't say our running backs were good.
Okay, so but what I'm saying is we keep talking about the running backs. Our offense is getting better. From what it was 2 seasons ago, last season, to now this season, it is getting better. When we were down like this last season, I had no hope that we were going to come back.
Yeah.
The fact that we were able to almost come back, it's like, cool. Hey, this offense is taking a turn. This offense is moving the ball. This offense is Justin Fields threw for 312 yards. Like,
It was a big game for him.
that's a big game. Like, talking about somebody who I don't think before this had thrown over 200 yards in any of the first 3 games. So that's a big game for him. That was a big step up game. He had to, because we were losing. So it's like you said last week, Chris. I want to see what they look like when they're losing.
Mhm.
And he kind of showed up. The 2 fumbles sucks. The 3 fumbles like that we lost sucks. But he showed up and was able to pass the ball, move the ball down the field. I think just the turnovers that we didn't have in the first 3 weeks kind of caught up to us, and the football god said, we're going to fucking turn the ball over so many times this game.
He did almost win this game, we'll say. Hey, Alex, Tony Pollard, when he was the starting running back for the Cowboys, what would you get him at?
What would I get him at?
Yeah, what would you say? Was he average, mediocre, lower than average, great?
Mediocre.
Cool. He had the same exact stats as Najee Harris.
I didn't say Najee Harris was the fucking best running back in the NFL. I just what did I say about Najee Harris? Did I say he was a consistent running back? Did I say that he was?
Did you say though? But would you say Tony Pollard was a consistent running back for the Cowboys last year? Don't say yes, because he was not. Exactly.
Did he have 1,000 yards last year?
Yes, he did. He had almost the exact identical stats. The only difference, he had less of a touchdown.
But the reason that we were like, oh, Tony Paul, he literally was the person that was supposed to take over this team and be the running back. They had such a good running game the year before, and then they were like, okay, let's make Tony Pollard the only guy. And then they had a bad running game. We have had the same running game for the last 3 years. You guys are fucking.
We just like to get you heated. And honestly,
you keep saying that I think Najee Harris is the best fucking running back in the league. I don't. I think he is a good, consistent running back in our backfield where he's going to get the yards and he should be fucking stronger, but he's not. What?
Is Najee Harris the best running back in the league? I'm just kidding. I'm just giving you shit.
You know what fucking sucks? The best running back in the league is in our fucking division.
Yeah. Yeah. Play him what? Not once, but twice.
Fucking annoying.
Hey, but you got a good game this week, man. How you feeling?
Oh, I'm feeling great. The one thing that does concern me a little bit is that Jonathan Taylor was kind of able to do whatever the fuck he wanted on our defense. Didn't sit well. He kind of went off, and I was like, okay, I don't know what his stat lines were. Okay, 21 carries for 88 yards and a touchdown. That's not Steelers defense. You don't let a fucking running back go 88 yards. Like, that's just not what we do. Like, I understand that doesn't seem like a lot, but as a Steelers defense, that's a lot. Like, you don't
certainly don't let Najee do that.
I'm done with you. I'm turning it to a fucking team that finally got over the hump. They finally are able to serve Seahawk at their restaurant. Okay, they are able to now put it on the menu. The Kneecap Diner is reformed and is back to its former glory against a team that has had their number. Chris, take us through that game.
Well, I'm going to be nice, short, and concise for this because I want my man McJamm to get a nice bedtime in here. So I'm just going to let you know that I am ecstatic about this team. The black jerseys that I've been begging for years look so sick. I love them. I got to order mine now. I think I'm going to get a St. Brown one. They looked awesome. We finally get over the hump of the Seahawks. Like you said, the Seahawks have had our number. I think this is the first time we've beaten them in 6 matchups now. It was brutal. And the thing about the Lions Seahawks games is they're always just high scoring, like entertaining games. And this absolutely lived up to the hype. Yes, the Seahawks did not go away despite the score in the first half. But I really have to give a big shout out. I was saying this last week with you, Alex, how it felt like our defense was really the shining star so far this season, surprisingly, where the offense was just, they weren't clicking yet. They weren't looking like they did last year. They finally did in this game, where now the defense kind of went back to how they kind of were last year, and the offense took over. And just giant shout out to Jared Goff, who went 18 for 18, 292 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 throwing, 1 receiving. I mean, you literally set an NFL record for the most completions without an incompletion above, I think, 11 throws or something. So 18 completions, insane. And actually, the Lions in general were 19 of 19, considering St. Brown's one throw was completed to Goff for that touchdown. Just a quick stat for you. So these are all guys that have less touchdown catches this year than Jared Goff. We have Travis Kelce. We have our own tight end, Sam Laporta, who finally was getting involved in this game. I want to see more of that as this season goes on because this offense is scary the more he gets involved. Mark Andrews, Brock Bowers, Brandon Ayuk, Mr. Holdout himself, Deebo Samuel, a guy that I've always said is overrated, Jalen
I will say
Waddle.
about that one, he's been injured.
He always is. So what's the excuse? T.
Waddle.
Higgins and Michael Pittman, and those. So Goff has more touchdown receptions than all of those guys, and he's tied with touchdown receptions with the one, the only Tyreek Hill. So that should blow your mind right now.
I don't know how much of that's Tyreek's fault. He has for the last 2 weeks, he had a quarterback that couldn't really get him a ball.
You're telling me he can't take a dump off pass and make magic out of it like he always has?
Yeah, they have to at least have the ball for more than 3 plays to be able to
The rest is really
regardless. Jared Goff played lights out. Jameson Williams played lights out. And most importantly, our run game is the best in the league. I don't care how good Derrick Henry looks. There is no deadlier run game than the Lions when you have Montgomery and Gibbs firing on all cylinders behind this offensive line. One thing that I loved seeing this week was finally all the people that wanted to suck off Bijan Robinson when he came into the league for no reason and wanted to shit on the Lions for taking Gibbs are finally recognizing, Gibbs might actually be better. Yeah, no shit. He destroyed him last year. He's destroying him this year. Bijan Robinson is not anywhere near the level as Gibbs is. I don't care the O-line differences. Like, it's beyond that. Gibbs is a special player. Really so excited to see his development there. Jameson Williams, like I said, he's maturing. He's coming to his own. You guys know I've been excited for J-Mo as soon as he came into the league. And this, I'm telling you, this is going to be his breakout season. He's special. Yes, Justin.
Okay, I have 2 things. Sorry for the 2. One, love Gibbs. He's my fantasy guy. I traded him last year. I was disappointed. I love that when you guys got David Montgomery, I was like, this is a weird one. I didn't think he'd do as good, but you guys definitely have the 1-2 punch when it comes to running backs. You guys have the running back core. Secondly, you fucked up this season, and I think you know what you fucked up on because you could have had your boy J-Mo, but you never pulled the trigger because you got nervous. Yeah.
I didn't get
trade, the dumbest trade in America in this size, and we haven't talked about it because I haven't been here. But we talked about trading Zeke Elliott for J-Mo.
Yes.
Literally the very first week. And I said, yeah, I did it. I even sent you the trade. All you had to do was accept it. And
you did?
Yes, and you never accepted it. And so it declined the trade. I did. I sent the trade out, and you never did. And I told Cypress, I said, man, this dude didn't accept the trade. J-Mo's doing good. I ain't giving him up. He could have had him.
No. I mean, totally fair. I would not expect you to give him up now. To be honest with you, it wasn't out of fear. I forgot that night to send it over, and then B, I never even saw that you sent the trade over. Otherwise, I would have taken it. It is what it is now. Like, yeah, obviously it's played out to where you're not going to take it. Yeah. But I'm still so excited for him. I have him in a couple other leagues, so I'm still getting those JMO points. That is funny, though. I completely forgot about that.
You did. I was like, he didn't even try.
So we're going into a bye week now. I think this is great for our offense to finally get clicking. Now we're going into the bye week. Stay healthy, rest up. I'm hoping doesn't sound like we'll get Barnes back in time, but we should get Brian Branch back during this bye week, and just in time to go down to Dallas and for our revenge game. This is a big one. This is a make good game for last year.
Yeah, it sucks that if they do win, if the Lions do win, it's not an asterisk, but like they didn't have any other defensive line probably.
To be honest with you, the way that the Cowboys were looking on defense before the injuries, I don't care. Like, if we're gonna run the ball on them, we're gonna run the ball on them no matter what. Micah Parsons is not a run stopper. He's a quarterback murderer.
No.
He's a quarterback murderer. He's not a run stopper. Lawrence, however, yes, that you're missing out there. Honestly, the Cowboys really need linebackers.
I think they're just young and inexperienced, but
They're very young.
But I don't want to talk about the Cowboys. I want to talk about a gentleman by the name of Terrion Arnold. Number 0, quarterback.
Yes.
Not 1,
yes.
not 2, but 3 horrible plays that he gave up.
The most penalized player in the NFL.
Literally,
yes, I'm not surprised. He's got penalties every game.
Looked up at the thing like he was the one in the wrong. Nope.
Yeah.
You did it, dude. Yeah, you fucking did it. It's obvious. You know, like it was he looked awful. He almost gave away.
I'm still trying to give him the benefit of the doubt because he is a rookie and he has so much potential because he is good. But the dude cannot keep his hands to himself before it's time, you know? And so he gets handsy and is driving me crazy a little bit. I think Troy Aikman said on the broadcast, you know, in practice, put oven mitts on the kid. Like, and I couldn't agree more. Like, he could be so good if he could just look for the ball. He's been better about that after the first couple games. He is starting to look for the ball when he does this, but he's still getting hands on too early, pulling shoulders, pulling jerseys, just too early. I think he's going to clean it up. I'm hoping he's going to clean it up, but it is definitely the ugliest spot on our defense right now is when he does that. We need Brian Branch back. Even Carlton Davis Jr. was getting a little handsy in that game too. But yeah, Terrion, I'm excited for his potential, but the dude has to stop holding.
Those uniforms, though, were just so fucking
sexy. They're so good.
I also do enjoy that Joseph guy that you guys got.
Oh, Kirby Joseph is having himself so he's the Aaron Rodgers killer because he picked off Aaron Rodgers 2 or 3 times in his final season. In fact, I think the final play of Aaron Rodgers' career at Green Bay was a pick to Kirby Joseph. And this year he's been lighting it up. I think that was his 3rd pick to end that game. Beautiful. Honestly, so excited about him. Like, to be honest with you, the Lions have had great moments. They've even had great games, but this is the first time these past couple of years where it's been so enjoyable to be a Lions fan because it's more than just moments, more than just games. Like, this team is so special, and specifically Brad Holmes has just done a knock out of the park job on drafting. I think over 90% of the players that he's drafted since he's been there are still on the team and are even starters. Like, it is insane how good he is at picking out talent.
Well, to keep our word to McJamm,
yes,
that's where we're ending it. Thank you boys for coming out and listening to us. Jay, it's always a pleasure to have you back. There were a couple kinks in your little game this week.
Yes, there was.
We will get back to it better than ever. And until next time, go follow us on.
Don't kink shame him.
3 Amigos podcasts. And if you're a kink shamer, we accept you. And if you have a kink, we also accept you. Boys, until next time.
Whoa. You're skipping over my kink. And my kink is hearing McJamm dish out the Gold Star of the week that you're just trying to just push off and just end. So come on, McJamm. Come in and award the Gold Star.
Every week.
This Gold Star is going to someone that was going to get a pity star, but I think he rightfully earned it this week. You know, he faced some backlash today, was fighting for his life for a bit there, but I think he handled himself well. So Alex gets the gold star this week.
Fucking
And you were
go.
gonna just brush him off.
A pity star. I'm weak. You said
No,
a pity
I got a pity
star.
star.
Oh, you missed. He got mad at McJamm.
Well, he's got
That's pretty
two back-to-back gold stars.
No. Chris got the last one. I got
the back-to-back.
yeah.
Okay.
I was to say as little as can fucking heated. And until next week, boys, we will see you. And go, if you haven't, go check out our prediction episode. It's already out. We love you, boys. Have a wonderful day. Boom.